Somewhere north of 4,500 players have suited up for an NBA game. Of those thousands of players, only a select group ascend to stardom. You don't get to the NBA if you can't hoop though, and sometimes those less discussed players shoot past our expectations to have a shining moment of greatness. In this series, I'm taking a player you may or may not remember and looking back at the best game they ever played on NBA court. Today, we're looking at Brian Scalabrine. The White Mamba is best known for being the human victory cigar for the late 2000s Celtics and dominating regular Joes who thought that they could take him. However, for at least one night in 2005, Scal was the best player on a court that featured Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, Jason Richardson, and Derek Fisher. And before you jump into the comments, yes, his Game 5 performance in 2004 is also worth mentioning, but that's definitely more of a Richard Jefferson masterclass. It was a cloudy night in Oakland when the New Jersey Nets came to town to play the Golden State Warriors. The team was in the middle of a 5-game road trip and was coming off of a loss to the Sacramento Kings the night before. That left the Nets sitting at a disappointing 15-26 and looking like it might be a lost season for a team that had just acquired Vince Carter in December. On top of that, starting big man Jason Collins had been knocked out of the game with an injury and wasn't going to play against the Warriors. Thankfully for the Nets, Scal was in the building. The Nets started the game hot and led the Warriors 28-14 after the first quarter. For his part, Scal dropped 8 points, adding an assist and 4 rebounds. That said, Vince Carter was right there with him in scoring and was hunting for a shot early, seemingly looking to take over. Scal's second quarter started off like you'd expect from a player with only 61 starts during his career. 2 bad passes gave the Warriors some life before he took a break on the bench. With the White Mamba resting, the Warriors closed the gap slightly, though they were still down by 11 when Scal checked back in. He'd close out the quarter with 2 buckets and a 14-point lead despite Jason Richardson pouring in 11 for the Warriors. Speaking of J-Rich, the high flyer went off in the third quarter, dropping 17 points and at one point getting the Warriors within 6. However, the Nets lived at the free throw line, with Scal banking in 3 from the stripe, and held the lead at 9 heading into the fourth. This is where the White Mamba took over. To that point, he had a respectable 17 points and 7 boards, but Scal was far from finished. The Warriors needed to have the door slammed in their face, and Scal was the one to do it. He started the quarter with a deep 2 off of a nifty Jason Kidd assist. He'd check out for a few minutes after missing his next shot, but got back into the game with just under 7 minutes to go. Then, it was Mamba time. He hit an underhand layup off of a feed from Carter and tied his career high at 21. Next, he curled off a screen to hit a J over a frankly lazy Mike Dunleavy. With the game now truly out of reach, he drove at Dunleavy, stopped on a dime, and popped another shot over him. He then took Troy Murphy off the dribble and hit a finger roll for good measure. Scal decided to give the Warriors one to think on with 22 seconds left to go and finished off a nice feed from Jacques Vaughn to end things. Once it was over, the White Mamba had dropped 29 points, 10 boards, and shot 70% from the field. Did the Warriors put up much of a fight? Not really, but the Nets needed Scal to deliver with Collins out, and he more than answered the bell. For one night, the White Mamba was the best player on the court, and his career best performance kicked off a 4-game winning streak for the Nets. They'd used that momentum to come back from what looked like a lost season and make the playoffs at 42-40. We won't talk about what happened there. Instead, let's all just bask in that one shining moment where Brian Scalabrine showed us all why he became the White Mamba.